Howdy, everybody. Oh, I decided to amuse myself while I waited for the commercials to finish. How's everybody doing? Oh, wow. I probably don't even have any commercials on this at all, do I? I just remembered I didn't set this to have commercials on it. So give me a moment here. I got to do some studio work right quick. I totally forgot when I was setting this up to make it have commercials. And Kitty's meowing at me now. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Is anybody else being scatterbrained like I am and forgetting to do things like, I don't know, turn on your commercials? I'm gonna go ahead and turn those on now. So if you didn't get a commercial coming in, yeah, you know why. So let's see. Vicky's here. Carolyn's here. We've got Autodidactia here. Someone known just as B is coming in. Iris is here. Moonsprout's here. Did a nice video earlier. Was that earlier today or yesterday? I just saw it earlier today on telling the difference between the queen caterpillar and the monarch caterpillar. And to be honest, if you hadn't done that video, every time I'm looking at what I think is a monarch caterpillar. Now I'm going to have to look at it twice because I could be looking at a queen and not a monarch and not have known the difference if you had to put that up there. So, yay! I learn something every day, all the time. So I've got a little philosophy. Whenever you teach, you learn. So if you want to learn something really well, learn enough about it that you can start talking about it to other people and start teaching it to other people. And as you do that, they're going to start asking you questions. As they ask questions, you go, well, if I don't know the answer to it, I'm going to go find out. And they will force you to learn. They'll also teach you other things along the way. So whenever you teach, you learn. And then the other part that you want to take forward with you at all times is whenever you learn something, teach it. And that way you really know it. So this is all part of my own learning experience. So whenever I find stuff and I pass it on to you, all I'm doing is really just passing on what I've just learned. That way I learn more, and it solidifies what I've learned in my own mind. If there's a problem that appears with information that I pass, somebody will bring it to my attention, and then I get corrected. So it's all a wonderful process, and you get to participate in it by following those simple rules. Whenever you learn something, teach it. Whenever you teach something, learn something. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about trials and tribulations, and I don't really have a formal plan for tonight's live stream, other than just to communicate with you guys a little bit. Talk a little bit about something that came to mind earlier today when I was watching. I can't remember whose live stream it was. In any case, people were just going on in chat and talking about Jesus, of course. And I noticed that these days, it's almost all the time that you see people saying, you need Jesus, praise Jesus, Jesus saves, so on and so forth. And I suppose that's great. But a little thought popped into my head. It's a story that I'm going to tell that is almost certainly not a true story, but it's just think of it as a thought exercise. Here we are, 1,990 some odd years ago, and we're at the Mount of Olives, and we're going to hear this teacher talk. He's been coming through here, and he's one of these people that everybody wants to come out and listen to it. You hear all kinds of things about this guy. He's supposed to be something else. He doesn't teach the same way that the scribes do. He seems to really know what he's talking about. So all these people have come out to listen to this guy talk. There's a crowd gathering around, and he's up there on the hillside, so he can address everybody who's sitting here. And this person over here says, "Hey, I hear he was born of a virgin," and the other person says, "I hear that he has lived a completely sin-free life. He's absolutely righteous. He's never done anything wrong." "Really? I heard that he's the only begotten Son of God." And one old guy is sitting here going, Guys, could you keep it down? I'm trying to hear the man speak." So this thought popped in my head. So everybody's talking about Jesus saves. Jesus is great. And I never hear anybody quoting Jesus. Why aren't they doing that? They're more than happy to talk about him. But for some reason, when it comes to actually taking what he said and listening to it and enacting that, they don't seem to be interested in doing that. And it puzzles me. So tonight, I figure I'm going to take a little bit of that, and I'm going to share with you something that Jesus said. And it has to do with prepping. And it has to do with homesteaders and preppers and people that might be inclined to prepare for hard times, should hard times be upon us, which it looks like they may be sometime very shortly. But there are the people that would say, "Well, I'm going to be raptured. I'm going to be with my Lord. It doesn't matter what happens to me. I'll be saved. Or I'm saved, everything's going to be fine." And a lot of people talk about this, and the thought that usually comes up is, it's already been said, prophetically speaking, that nobody is going to know that when the end of times will actually occur. You can look for the signs of things and go, well, it's coming close, but actually knowing, could be tomorrow, could be tonight, could be 2 seconds from now. Could be 200 years from now. Nobody knows. So the idea that you're not going to prepare for trials and tribulations in your own life and in the society that you're living in, because you expect someone to come and rescue you out of this situation at the last minute. This is your faith. It seems presumptuous that you believe this. So tonight, I'm going to have a look at what Jesus himself said regarding this very issue, and maybe we can finally put this to bed entirely, because if you're one of these people that would call yourself a Christian, then maybe you would be interested in hearing what Jesus had to say on the matter. And you can ask yourself, is Jesus a liar, or is he telling me the truth? If he's a liar, then it doesn't matter what he says. I'm going to believe what I believe, because that's part of my doctrine. If Jesus is telling the truth, then perhaps there's something wrong with the doctrine. Just putting that out there, and we'll have a look at this. So, without further ado, I'm going to switch over here to, what am I using? I am using Bible Hub, and I'm looking at the King James Version, because this is the way Grandpa's Bible was written, and so that's the one I'm familiar with. So here we are. We're in Matthew 24:15, where we get to. I'm going to read the old King James language, because I just like the way it sounds. "When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, then let him who is in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is in the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days." But those who are nursing, I mean, come on, the way they phrase things. "But pray ye that your flight not be in winter, neither on the Sabbath day." So right now, he's indicating that he doesn't know what that particular time is going to be either, or at least if he does know, he's not sharing it with us, right? For then shall be great tribulation, such was not seen since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor shall ever be. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. He goes on. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he's in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he's in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the and this is the place where spell check has altered things. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, in other words, the sunrise, the lightning, they took the extra e out of there and made it lightning for some reason. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so also shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. That sounds a little creepy, doesn't it? Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, one from end of heaven to the other. Okay, so this is what he's saying on the Mount of Olives on this particular occasion. And he's laying out exactly the timeline of events that he says is going to be happening. And he's telling us, or he's telling the people who are assembled there, that they're going to experience this time of tribulation before there's going to be any gathering of the elect together. So all the people are saying, well, I'm going to be raptured out of the times of tribulation. Well, you're going to have to just be content with calling Jesus a liar then. I don't know if you want to do that. Maybe you do. But for some people think that maybe the guy was telling the truth. So there you go. It might be a good idea to grow a garden. Oh, there's a lot of really good stuff actually that Jesus taught. That I very rarely ever heard it as a younger person from the pulpits and the churches that we attended. Very, very rarely ever heard it. I was a very avid reader, as some of you may know, and so whenever I got my hands on a copy of the Bible, going through it, and then whenever I was hearing the sermons being taught, I was like, "There's something not right here. Why is this congregation that's supposed to be devoted to being followers of this particular rabbi's teaching?" And of course, they believe he's the Messiah. I had a couple questions about that too, but. I'm not saying that Jesus is not the Messiah. I'm just saying that if he is the Messiah, his name isn't Jesus. It's not Yeshua either. From prophecy, remember, old Jewish family. Prophecy is the name supposed to be Emmanuel. That's the old language there, meaning God with us. You know, El, that suffix, El as a suffix or prefix indicating Lord, and then there's Anu El. Anu from the old Sumerian, and El, Lord. So the Lord is with us. That was supposed to be the name of the Messiah as prophesied. So if Jesus was the Messiah, then chances are his name was actually Emmanuel, and it's been changed to Jesus because that's the Roman name that they assigned to him whenever Rome spread Christianity out there to the far corners of the world. Anyway. So, let me see here. Ken's with us tonight. Hi, everybody. That's the show. That's it. That's all I wanted to share with you. It was just bugging me. I was like, why is everybody flashing Jesus, 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 but nobody nobody shares those words. It always puzzled me. So anyway, today I was very very busy, and I did not do a whole lot of recording of what I was doing because it was raining all day today. We had little breaks every now and then. There was a little time earlier this morning. Uh, Mary, you're going to have to talk to me about the three heavens in the Bible. I want to have that conversation maybe tomorrow. I want to go to bed after we get down here tonight. So raining all day, very misty, and I thought today's a great day. Actually, it was like this yesterday too, off and on rain, very wet, overcast, and I thought that it would be a great time to get our violets set up because I want to be able to propagate a bunch of violets, and I want to add those to our catalog. We have Viola sororia, grows very nicely. The ducks don't eat it. It's a salad green. I have some right over here, as a matter of fact. So we got a box full of these. We're not selling them this year. Just to let you know. I know, right? I'm such a tease. We're not selling them this year. This year, I'm getting them divided up, moved out into. We're using kiddie pools as a planting area, and these are ones that I dug up, and I need to get these divided up so you see these. Oh, you can't see these. You can't see these, can you? Hang on. Let's see. Let me make an adjustment here to the virtual background so you can actually see this. And I'll just. Oh, that's just horrible. Let's just turn off the virtual background. There we go. Okay. Here we go. So this is the violets, Viola sororia. They've finished with their blooms for right now, and we're in the midst of getting them divided up. Now the idea is I get these divided up now. They grow for the season. Next year, whenever spring starts to roll around, about the time that these begin to get ready to go, I get these dug up. I get them packed away in the refrigerator for about 24 to 48 hours, and I start filling orders with violets for you people that want to have some violets for your forest gardens. All right, so here we go. Not all of them are going to look like this one, but that's a general idea of the kind of plant you would have. This one is actually two plants, and you could break that root that's tying the two together. Let me get this close enough to the camera so you can see it. You could break that storage root there. Oh yeah, you can see them in front of the tree. Okay, yeah. So you could break that storage root, or I could just take this entire thing and plant it as is, and then it's going to multiply, and then next year I can separate them. So here we go. So some of them may be single plant, and some of them may be more developed. Now this one of our separated, most of the roots didn't come with it, so this one would not get sold. I have to put this one in some intensive care and get it to reestablish roots. There's enough of that storage root right there that's not a problem. It's going to get its own root structure, but I wouldn't sell that one. Now this one, okay, this one's just fine. It's got enough of its own roots, and you can even see these little. Hang on a second, let me get these untangled from each other. All right. This was where the flower was, so there's going to be some seed there. This little stem here, oh, sorry, let me get this up. This little stem here that I've got right there, if this is submerged, if it's on the ground, it will establish a whole new plant. So these plants can be divided easily. They establish runners easily. Once you have a few of them going, it's pretty easy to propagate them and get them spread out all over the place. Now, why do you want these? Well, they are a salad green. They're available early in the spring. You've got either not much of any taste at all. They taste like your salad dressing. So that's kind of nice. Or if they do wind up having a flavor, some of them wind up with the flavor that's kind of like melon rind a little bit. You know, if you bite into a watermelon, you eat the red part, and then just right on the other side of the red part, you've got that little bit of rind where it's just sort of juicy, but it's not sweet. That's the sort of flavor this has. Kind of like a little melon flavor. And I may be able to. I may be able to collect the seeds here. There's another seed pod. Does the camera pick that up really well? After the flower is done, it produces this little seed pod here, and I could spread the seeds for violets. And these, of course, being sexually reproduced as opposed to vegetatively reproduced. You divide them. That's vegetative reproduction. Each one of these is a clone. You get the seeds to start. Well, now you have genetic variation, and your violets can be different. You can come around the corner and see maybe a different shade of violet, or one with a different leaf shape. Say, these have all kinds of different genetics in them. There's a nice rounded leaf. Rounded leaves you find on Viola sororia, the woolly blue violet, which these are not. They're not woolly at all. Also, they're not blue. They're violet shade, violet colored. But you'll also get ones that are more pointed, like these ones here, right? And the pointed leaves are more like a Missouri violet, or Missouri violet. Break these guys apart just a bit here. There we go. So these guys will be planted separately as two separate plants. So these guys have been reproducing and mixing their genetics for quite a while, which is great. They like to produce seeds. They like to grow, and what more can I say about them? They're a great little shade perennial. And being an edible salad green that you can get really early on in the spring is awesome. I mean, can you imagine? This is a plant that you put in your garden. It grows and propagates itself very, very, very easily. I'm going to leave this one the way it is. I think. Well, no, I can't resist. I'm gonna go ahead and break these ones off. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now I've got two plants. So it's very easy. See how ridiculously easy this one is to propagate. So early in the spring, you dig them up, rinse the dirt off of the roots so you can get to them, and they're easy to divide here. You either do this before they flower or after they flower. Don't do this while they're in the middle of flowering, because right then, in the middle of flowering, they're trying to reproduce, and they don't want to interrupt them. So this one here will grow a nice little clump. That's nice. So while they're in the middle of flowering, let them flower. Whenever they're done flowering, divide them, or you can divide them before they begin to flower. Either way is fine. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, lots of roots on this one, and I think these are about ready to come away. I'm just going to pull these apart. Ooh, I think I got a bonus. So we've got this nice root ball here. Are you guys counting how many of these I'm producing? There's just tons of these. So every time you get the opportunity to divide your clumps, you just get to spread these plants out, and you get more and more and more every year. So they're just wonderful. And yes, they like shade. I think we'll just leave this the way it is. They love shade. So all this effort you've been making to develop a nice forest. Yeah, that one needs a little TLC. There's a little bit of root on that, but I think I want to save that and not sell it. I'm not selling any of this year. Anyway, I'm just saying, I'm trying to show you some examples of things that I would sell and things that I would not sell. See, this one, I mean, it's going to grow, but it's so dinky. I'm going to hold on to this and grow it myself. That's a maybe. That's a maybe. It's not very tall, but it does have a good root structure. It's got a nice storage root there. And chances are, whenever I'm collecting these early in the spring, I'm probably going to cut off the vegetation a bit. All right. Bonus. Anybody know which plant this one is that I wound up having tangled up in the roots of that violet? It's another edible. David, more comfrey. Today we're dividing violets, actually. Dividing violets and encouraging people to not just believe in Jesus, but to also believe him and take the time to read his words and maybe start putting those into some action in your life. In the old Semitic sense of the word, if you believe or believe on, that means you place your faith in to the extent that you would believe that what they say is true. So if you believe that what Jesus says is true, then you might, just might, possibly consider, incorporating his teachings into your life. But you'd have to know what those are first. And unfortunately, most churches don't teach them. All right. I'm not done. I've got more here. But real quick, because David showed up. Yes, David, that one was chickweed. You're correct. Ding, ding. Give that man a gold star. I was mentioning this the other day because you're building trellises, and I went and said, you know what? I've been putting this off for too long. I need to go get some of this. This particular plant here is pretty awesome for making trellises and bean poles. So I finally got some and had it shipped out to us, and we're gonna be planting this probably tomorrow. So in addition to dividing, planting out, and propagating violets today, I was working on clearing the area where this little plant is getting ready to go. Does anybody know what this one is? Let me get the leaves there so you can see it. There you go. This guy is great for making trellises out of. You could even split it and make a house with it if you wanted to, I believe. At one point, we will probably make fencing panels for the ducks out of this material. And at that point, I'll be like, yeah, we're never going to have to buy fencing material anymore. We won't have to buy bean poles or trellis material anymore, because this stuff will grow like gangbusters. And of course, this is fishing pole bamboo. This one gets to be about 35 foot tall and about 1.5 inches thick at the base. That's actually a young cane, or just the tip of a young green cane right there that's attached to, this is the plant right there. So you can't see all of it. Bamboo! Yes, we have bamboo. So this is going in between the old RV shop and our garage, where there's 2 concrete pads side by side. That means there's only the spot on the east side and the spot on the west side. Spot on the east side and the spot on the west side. I don't know my east from my west, apparently. We only have those 2 spots where it can run out, and I'm just going to put it smack dab in the middle of it and let it try. Let it try to grow out of its containment, and we'll just eat the leading edges. And once if it starts to get too far along, we'll go ahead and drop a rhizome barrier in its path, and then just laugh and laugh and laugh. So, but this takes a long time. It won't be ready to make trellises out of next year. It won't be ready to make trellises out of the year after next. It might make a trellis or 2 the year after that, but about 5 years altogether to get to the point where it's going to reach its full growth. But bamboo is unusual this way, because it will get all of the growth it's going to make for 1 year all at once. So if you've got a bamboo plant like this one, that gets to be about 35 foot tall. The first year you grow it, it's going to get 10, 15 foot. The next year, maybe 20. Next year after that, 30. And then the year after that, 5 years later or so, it should reach 35. But it'll get that full 35 foot all at once. I mean, all at once. So it'll go from being dead and just the rhizomes underground to 35 foot tall in one shot. This one is a running bamboo. So fishing pole bamboo is a running bamboo. You do need to have something to contain it. Otherwise, it will take over. But, oh my goodness, Dave was saying, in a plant fight, who would win, hybrid willow or a bamboo? Bamboo. Probably bamboo. Probably. Anyway, so this will get to be 35 foot tall whenever you sit to its tallest height. And of course, it'll start spreading from there. Being a running bamboo, it'll spread fairly quickly. And of course, running bamboo is the kind that you want for edible shoots. Fishing pole bamboo makes very, very nice edible shoots. Not a whole lot of bitterness. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's any bitterness at all. Congan grass, there you go. Congan grass is going to win the fight. I wonder if you put ducks intensively grazing in a spot, if they will dig out and eat the roots. If they will dig out and eat the roots, that would be good. I've seen them dig out and eat the roots of Bermuda grass. Yes, the rhubarb. And that worked out pretty well. All right. So we had to get the space ready for that bamboo because it arrived yesterday. And I was in the middle of getting the planting area ready for these guys using a kiddie pool. Used a standard size kiddie pool, 4 bags of mushroom compost. I mixed into that about an equal amount of perlite and peat moss. And then I added in some biochar that I've inoculated with effective microorganisms and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of composted alfalfa. So it's got a little growth hormone in it and nitrate in it and effective microorganisms in it. It's the stuff that I've been calling Mirasol. It's charged biochar is what it is. All it is, charged biochar. The specific technique that I use to charge it, should I just go ahead and tell you? Sure, I'll go ahead and tell you. Then it won't be a secret, will it? I start out with the alfalfa. By mass, we use 1 part alfalfa, 1 part finely ground charcoal. All right, you with me so far? One part of each, and 1 part of water. And you mix that all together. Oh, the water needs to be 1 cup of water, 1 cup of sugar. It could be horticultural molasses, it doesn't matter. 1 cup of sugar to 5 gallons of water. That's the water you start out with. All right. So equal parts by weight, charcoal, alfalfa, and your water that you've already mixed up your sugar into. And then you set that to the side and you wait. And it's going to get hot. It'll be hot for about a day or two. After a day or two, whenever it's no longer hot, you take that stuff and turn it a couple of times. Make sure that it has enough time for any of those thermophilic bacteria to finish doing what they're doing. And then you take that exact same water, the same water mix that I was talking about previously, where you're going to mix up a cup of sugar per 5 gallons of water. You take that water mix and you add whatever effective microorganisms you want to add to that. You could use a commercial product. There's a couple out there, and none of them are paying me, so I'm not going to mention by names. You can find them. I'm using yeast and lactobacillus. Little culture of yeast and get lactobacillus after we're done with heat phase. You have to make sure it's done with heat phase first, because the thermophiles will wind up killing your effective microorganisms if you add it in before. So wait until heat's done. It's not going to take long, about a day or so, maybe 2 days. And then inoculate that water with your effective microorganisms. There we go. I got them all separated. Yay! I think I'm going to plant those somewhere tomorrow. Yay. All right. That's it. I do a live stream so I can do my chores. That's it. You can watch me do chores live. All right. So now you're going to take an equal mass of the water to what you added previously whenever you're blending it all together. And I do mean blending it. I use a blender. So it comes out very, very fine. Uh, I'm going to add that same amount of water with effective microorganisms back in after the heat phase is done, and then stir it around a little bit and wait until it gets absorbed into the charcoal. The charcoal is going to be able to hold up to 5 times its mass in water. So don't worry, it will be able to absorb all of that water. It's just going to take a little while for it to soak in. Once it's all the way soaked in, you now have what I call mirasol. Mirasol, of course, is Spanish for sunflower, but it sounds an awful lot like miracle soil. It's not really soil at all. It's just charged biochar. But if you see a bag that has that name on it and it's coming from our website, you'll know exactly what it is. And I'll be doing some videos here very shortly, growing some things with that. I'm going to grow a pepper plant in nothing but this charged biochar. See how it turns out. It should be interesting. All right, we get back here to virtual background and turn it on. There we go. Hey, that looks better. Ah, there's those lovely flowers out there. Now, David did an article on his blog. I think he posted it earlier today. Was it earlier today? Yeah, I think it was. Of course, we're talking, of course, the survival blog, survival gardening. I'm going to bungle this, aren't I? Go to the survival gardening channel. He's going to have links right there. I don't happen to have them available at the moment. He did an article on 2 different types of planting corn. Corn in stations like they do in the Caribbean, and corn in rows. Obviously, if you've seen my videos on how we plant our corn, we do it in rows in the backyard. But I was giving this quite a bit of thought, and it kind of relates to this wonderful scene behind me here. Now this patch of wildflowers is very definitely deliberately planted in groups. It's not just randomly strewn across a meadow. But what I'm thinking, the thing I'm thinking of is more along the lines of randomly strewn across a meadow. But I was thinking about Fukuoka's seed balls. And for those of you who are not familiar with the seed balls, and I'm going to back up another step here. So just knocked holes in the whole side, then through the corn. Yeah, dig a hole, throw something in it. That's how we grow food here. I was thinking about seed balls and corn because I've got a lot of this corn just hanging around, and sometimes you pull a cob down, and I was just breaking it off into pieces, right? Corn and cob and everything, and throwing it out there to the ducks to see if they'd eat it. If they weren't interested, chickens would be all over this, right? This is how ducks are different from chickens. The ducks, I give them goosegrass or cleavers or something like that, and they gobble it up and they lay a bunch of eggs. But I hand them corn, and they go, "What's this? I don't know what to do with this. Give me a slug, give me a worm, give me a roly-poly or a mouse or something like that," right? Oh, this guy. You know how old this bottle is? Oh my goodness. This bottle is about 9 months old, give or take. I just keep on refilling it. Don't know me very well, do you? All right. So I'm breaking off these pieces of corn cob and I'm throwing out there to the ducks. And I'm thinking, you've got this little ring here that has a whole bunch of seeds in it. If I were to just take it and chop it with a machete to make smaller bits, I'd have a little ring with all those seeds there. I'm like, 8 or 9, maybe more, twice that. That's enough for a little clump or a little station of corn. What if I were to take that and I were to get together maybe some of those nice vining peas that I've got, 1 or 2 other little things that would be beneficial to this immediate area, clover seed maybe, possibly some alfalfa. Do we need daikons? Nah, we're not gonna do tillage. This is probably after we've treated a field with broadcast sowing of things to treat the soil, things like sugar beet and daikon radish and clovers, alfalfa, amaranth for the phosphorus, all that good stuff. Listen to Timcast, huh? Talking about Tucker Carlson tonight. I think they were. Oh, and if you're interested, I think Glenn Beck is doing something about conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. So I do greatly appreciate everybody that decided to come here tonight instead of all the other places that you could go. I know there's a lot of interesting stuff happening out there and out there on YouTube tonight. So I'm glad you guys came in and stopped by to visit us tonight. But of course, yeah, we can always watch all that stuff later. So I thought, well, I've got a whole bunch of these bags that we picked up a while back called topsoil. I grabbed them, brought them home, and okay, we've got some bagged soil. So we can fill a couple of raised beds with it. Open them up, look inside, and went, oh no, I can't use this at all, because what was inside was a bunch of our native red clay. We have pretty good high phosphorus content native red clay. Pretty good. It's pretty good. Hey, I was out. It was hot. I needed something to drink. I said, I'll take that. It's got a good sturdy bottle. It'll stand up for quite a while. See, it's still pretty stiff here. It'll stand up for quite a while, and I just have been reusing the darn thing ever since. One day I will misplace this, and it'll be lost and forgotten, and probably get UV blasted enough that it'll become brittle and no longer useful for anything, and then it'll be wasted. But until then, I can get as many refills on this as I want. Anyway, the thought was you take this topsoil, which is not topsoil. It's like I said, our native red clay that somebody threw some wood chips in that haven't decomposed yet. So it is clay and wood chips, and they're selling this as topsoil. This is not topsoil. Not topsoil at all. But it is clay. And if I wanted to make seed balls, I could take this clay, I could maybe pound it with a hammer to break the rock hard chunks of it up, and then mix in a little bit of water. And now I have something that I can mold, and we can mold that with all the seeds that I want to sow, right? We're just going to make up a seed ball. We're going to make a big seed ball, probably tennis ball size, maybe a seed ball, about tennis ball size. But it's going to contain enough corn. And I realized I wouldn't be able to use the corn on the cob if I just took the cob and chopped it with the machete a couple of times. That would be all kernels from the exact same corn cob. And I want to have a little bit of genetic diversity in that cluster. So I'd harvest my corn like I would ordinarily do, and then mix it up, all the ears of corn that have good kernels on it, the genetics I'm looking for. I'm gonna mix all those up and maybe throw in a red kernel here and there, and then those we set to the side. We put in the peas, we put in the ground cover. Maybe we throw in a little bit of borage too. Why not? And then we make a seed ball out of that, about a tennis ball size seed ball. And if we go out to a field that we've already prepared, and by prepared, I mean we do the Fukuoka thing with seed balls, but with tillage radishes, and I wanted to add sugar beets to those because I figure putting a sugar beet in is going to supercharge the soil by giving us a large pocket of sugars for the microbiome to play with. You could also, incidentally, whenever you're hydrating your clay, go ahead and include some inoculated biochar in your seed ball. Include some effective microorganisms in the water that you're using to rehydrate your clay when you're making your seed ball. And then, of course, you have to get it. See, this is the problem. If we make it big, like tennis ball size, it's not going to dry properly. But we could probably make it in layers. So we make a small one, and then we build another wrapping on the outside of it. This will give us enough that we can now toss those out into the field that we've already prepared. These balls are going to land plunk in the middle of the field. The rain falls on them. They start to disintegrate and spread out into the field. Seeds germinate. Boom, 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 boom. You've got a station of corn. That was the thought that occurred to me. And I was going to write about it as a response. And I was like, I don't know. I've got other stuff I got to go do. But it's been sticking and bouncing around in my head all day. So thank you, David, for sending me on a journey. So I may do something like that in the field over there on the other side of the bike path. I think I want to try using a nice mix for soil conditioning with tillage radish, with sugar beet, amaranth, dill, fennel, clovers, alfalfa, maybe a couple other things that we're throwing in there. I know the usual mix includes ryegrass or Sudan grass, maybe some sorghum bicolor. Might be good. If we had sorghum bicolor growing in the field next to us and it took over, I would not be distressed. I wouldn't be distressed at all. Possibly include so-so comfrey in the seed ball. But yeah, I could include so-so comfrey, but I can't do comfrey. As previously stated, if I grew comfrey, then I would feel obliged to sell it. And if I was to start selling comfrey, then Billy would he wouldn't make any money, and I would feel horrible. But we have all kinds of different things that do the same thing for us. Broadleaf plantain is a very, very nice general purpose healing herb. I know I've shared the story about how I discovered that one with you guys previously. As far as something that can help accelerate healing, plantain is awesome. I've heard comfrey is good. I have experience with plantain. And it is just short of miraculous, or maybe it is miraculous. I don't know. Dandelion. David says Billy is terrifying. He's very energetic, isn't he? Like scarily energetic. He's not quite what's that guy's name? Gary, the guy, the juicer guy. Not quite that on, but he's got a certain amount of intensity. Is he that intense live? Like, whoa, hang on, buddy. Take it down just a notch. Just a little bit. What's really in Billy Bone sauce? What bones? Huh? I don't know. Let's see. This is a jar of Billy's bone sauce, and it smells. It smells like a barbecue grill that needs to be cleaned. Actually, is what it smells like. Vicky is saying there's more demand for comfrey than even Billy can handle by himself. Billy's got acres to grow comfrey in. I've only got a third of an acre, so I have to be selective. There's an entire technique for cooking down bones to make bone sauce. Moonsprout's talking about salve that she makes. Moonsprout's got some pretty cool stuff, by the way. Make a comfrey, lavender, and plantain salve. Ooh, yeah. Incredible healing. I'll bet. So do you not add anything like Monarda, horse mint, thymol, oregano, anything like that to it, or is just those? I mean, just those usually is enough. Heather and I say comfrey is out of control here. So we have a lot of yellow dock that just grows like nuts. And I've got some over here to the side. If you guys remember, not too long ago, it was there in the middle of winter, I did a cooking video using dock greens. And this is one of those things that we can harvest in the middle of winter. We can find dock, we can find the onions, I've got all kinds of starchy root veg. Pardon me. Ah. Heterodox is saying, I have the spreading kind. I'm talking about comfrey. Don't recommend it. Some things you want to spread and just go out of control, and some things, you want it to stay manageable. If you're going to use it, have something that wants to go nuts and grow like gangbusters. For example, kudzu. If you actually have a use for that much kudzu is a great plant. If you don't have a use for that much kudzu, it's horrible. It'll take over. It'll drown everything. So it all depends. Anyway, so we have other plants besides comfrey, like the yellow dock. And I was using this for salad greens. I did a video where I cooked up the greens. That one particular plant wound up producing so many more leaves from just that going around in the middle of the winter and harvesting it. There was 2 plants that I harvested from, and the rest of them I left them alone. But that one is now so much bigger. It's huge. It got monstrous. It said, "Oh, you're going to graze on my leaves. You like my leaves, do you? Here, have more." And so now we have this yellow dock plant that's about let me turn sideways, about this wide, and from the floor to about here, maybe about here. That's 4. This is like 3.5 foot, and about 2.5 to 3 foot wide. Huge plant, huge. And of course, that's Rumex crispus. It's a yellow dock. It's a member of the sorrel family. It is, yeah. It's Oklahoma Chicken Cannon says, is it sour dock? Yeah, it's sour. If you eat it whenever it's fresh and green, it's got a lot of oxalic acid in it, so it has a really acidic flavor, acidic bite to it. Once you've cooked it, it destroys the oxalic acid, and you don't have to worry about getting gout. Just cook it. Yellow dock and curly dock, same plant. Yes, Katie Moore is saying it's curly dock, and she's right. This is the exact same plant. High in iron, great for little boo boos. Incidentally, if you want to recover, people who bleed frequently, having dock in your diet is helpful. It replaces the iron in your blood, so you don't become anemic. Goat landscaping. Yeah, you can feed a lot of goats off of kudzu. A lot of goats off of kudzu. It's just unfortunately not everybody needs that much kudzu. Vicky's talking about having mullein growing wild and plentifully. Mary got some more mullein seed. Oh yeah, it's over here. She's always picking it, bringing it home. I'm always picking it, bringing it home. One of these days, eventually, some of the seeds that we throw, there's some more mullein seeds. But eventually, one of these days, some of the mullein is going to sprout and grow around here. We keep on trying. Eventually, it'll take. But I've got all kinds of plants showing up. I've got things showing up that I know I never planted. But I was like, wow, that's a nice flower. I think we'll keep that one. That's a pecan tree. I didn't plant that one. I think a squirrel did, but we'll keep that one. And there's all of these things that are starting to come in now, which is just amazing. Oh, wow. The original horseradish plant is 5 foot in diameter and 3 foot tall. I may have to adjust the location where my horseradishes are then, if we just let them keep on growing out that way. Yep. Mullein is great for the respiratory system. It's good in the kinnikinnick. I believe smoke from mullein leaf, if you dry it and you don't inhale. Well, I mean, you can because it won't hurt your lungs as much as other things. It's one of the reasons why they put it in kinnikinnick and smoking mixes, is because it does have a relieving effect on your lungs. But you take the smoke and then blow it into the ear of a person suffering from an earache. That helps. I believe you can make a tincture out of mullein as well, or perhaps an oil with sweet oil. Mix it with olive oil and use that as an application to relieve earache. Let's see. Wait. Oh, speaking of aches, I've got a cramp in my foot. Wait. Mary says this is great. I collect the seeds from pretty plants and slowly empty my pockets as I walk around. There you go. Well, what does it take to transform the world into a beautiful garden, right? Just people appreciating beauty and go, let's take that plant, move some over here, and put some over there, and put some over there. Wait a minute, this plant's good for food. I'm going to put some over here, and put some over there, and put some over there. This plant's good for medicine. I'm going to put some over here, some over here, and some over there. Well, this tree produces nuts that are tasty. I'm going to put one over here, one over there, and one over there. As long as we keep on doing this, if this becomes our regular routine habits, like, wow, I like this plant. I want more of it. And we propagate it. We transform the world into a garden, which may be the entire purpose why we're here. So anyway, guys, almost a full hour. Trials and tribulations ahead. Don't worry. You guys know how to plant a garden. You're on top of this, and we'll get through it just fine. Make sure you plant extra for the people that forgot, because a lot of good people can be persuaded to do a lot of bad things whenever they get really hungry. All right. Yeah, we're still living with the 4 o'clock. So I've discovered they make a decent biomass plant, but you can't kill them. You can't kill them. The 4 o'clocks. They have this root, this tuber, a bulb that they produce underground, and it goes deep, and they grow back from that every year, and they're hard to pull out because whenever a 4 o'clock grows, the central stem comes out jointed, and so you reach down there to grab it, and you pull, and it pops off, and so you've got the top of the plant, but the bottom of the plant is underground, and the joint broke, and unless you dig down and find that tuber, it's going to grow right back. And then they reproduce from seeds. So you had just 4 o'clocks and 4 o'clocks and 4 o'clocks and 4 o'clocks everywhere, just everywhere. But I've started to use them as a biomass plant. Chop them and throw them into weed tea, and chop them and throw them into compost, and chop them and scare the kitty with knocking off apple cinnamon air freshener. Ooh. She's giving me that look now. Like you did that deliberately and on purpose. I hear you talking about. Come here, kitty. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to scare you, kitties. She's not fully in full trust mode. Let me see here. Can you eat chicory greens? Yes, you can. They're bitter, but you can eat them. Get them whenever they're the way you want to grow chicory. If you're going to grow chicory, is sprout them out and keep them in the dark. Keep them in the dark. Don't let them get any light at all. No light. Let them get as big as they're going to get before they get any light. So you grow them in a box and cover them. And that way, as soon as they get big, the plant's going to be all white. The leaves are going to be white. There might be a little bit of green in them. But every little bit of green that you have is a little bit of bitterness. So if you have your chicory in the box, whenever you grow it, then you have this nice white leaf chicory. Vitloof, I think they call it. And that's supposed to be pretty tasty. But anywho, so I'm going to go ahead and take off and get some rest because I've got to get back at it tomorrow. I dropped 2 shumacs and 1 catalpa tree today to clear up the area for dish plant here, the fishing pole bamboo. So we're going to get this in the ground tomorrow. Probably get these violets that we just separated out into the ground tomorrow. I'm going to go get them healed in for right now so they don't they don't wilt away. You can't see what's in the box. I gotta go get them healed in so they don't wilt away. But this coming spring we will have available lots and lots and lots of Viola Sororia ready to head out your way. We're going to have Egyptian onions ready to head out your way coming this spring as well. So we have lots of good stuff coming for this coming year, provided that we're all still here. So thank you very much for joining me tonight, and y'all get out there and get growing. All right, everybody.